All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Den SI podcast. Coming off 2 great episodes, episode 2 and episode 3. Joining me once again in studio is Laura Murphy. Laura, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And I am your host, Brandon Wislocki. On the line, we have 3 amazing Den stars joining us from 3 different parts of the United States today. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment and meet them. We're going to start with Dana. Dana, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and how many times you've been to Summer Institute.
Hi everybody, my name is Dana Johnston. I live in Newport Beach, California, and I work and teach in Orange, California. I'm an instructional specialist, which means I go around and help everybody with everything they need help with. This will be my 2nd year going to Summer Institute. Last year I was in Nashville, and I cannot wait to get to Washington, D.C. this year.
All right, Dana, thanks for joining us from so far away. We really appreciate it. Jeremy, we're glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, who? Me?
Yes, you.
Sorry, it broke up. I couldn't hear. Leave it to me. I'm Jeremy Badner. I'm from Southwest Michigan, right about there, since we all have to show it. I'm an instructional technology coach, specializing in K-5 grades. So I basically just teach teachers, and every once in a while I get to teach the kids now. This will be my 3rd Den SI experience. So I'm really excited to be able to do this, and it's great. It's an awesome experience.
All right. Kamala, thanks for joining us from the middle of the United States. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm Kamala Schuster. I am from Colorado. I teach in Castle Rock, Colorado, which is south of Denver, and I am a tech integration specialist. I work with kindergarten through 6th grade teachers and students on how to integrate technology into the classroom. This is my 2nd Den SI. I went last year to Nashville, and I'm really excited to be going back again.
All right, and one more. Laura, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm from Irvine, California, which is very close to where Dana is. And right now I'm actually working at a all-girls Catholic high school in Fullerton, and I'm teaching graphic design. And my goal is to try and get our school to become a discovery school, since we're not right now. So.
All right, great goal to have. All right, Dana and Kamala, I'm going to start with you two first, being that it will be your 2nd Summer Institute. What was your biggest takeaway from Summer Institute last year that you kind of weren't expecting to happen, but once you got there and you experienced it, you're like, whoa, this is cool. So what was your biggest takeaway? Dana, you first.
My biggest takeaway was like my big aha actually happened in the elevator in the dorms, and all of a sudden I was feeling really stressed out about how am I going to remember all this stuff? How am I going to be able to take all this stuff home? I'm never going to learn all these things that everybody knows how to do. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have to remember all this stuff because I now have 150 new friends, and somebody I know knows how to do this now, and I can get a hold of them and they will be able to happy to help me out with whatever I need to know how to do. It's a great resource. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've been able to call on my Den friends and family to say, hey, I need help with this, and instantly I get back 25 answers. It's amazing.
That wasn't the elevator that got stuck, right?
It was the elevator that got stuck, but not the time that it got stuck.
Well, there was PD happening in that stuck elevator, if you can believe that.
It was. It was an unconference.
We're still learning in there. That's just how it works.
All right, Kamala, same question to you. What was your biggest takeaway from your first Summer Institute?
My biggest takeaway was very similar to Dana's. It was the connections, I think, that people already had and that people made. I had some amazing suite mates that brought me into the fold and kind of took me around and introduced me. And then I feel like the stuff that happened after Den SI was even more powerful, just the ways you could talk to people and connect to people and, like Dana said, ask questions, get answers. There's always tons of people that are willing to give you help and direction, and I really enjoyed that piece of it, and I learned so much. I've never been around so many amazing and inspiring educators at anything I've gone to in my life, and so that's really why I wanted to come back and be inspired again.
All right, well, we're glad you're back. Laura?
So, Jeremy, we've been talking a lot about learning outside of the sessions, Have you had any of that happening to you in your, your times that you've gone, where you've like been somewhere not in a specific session and your mind has just been blown, or you've just connected with somebody about something?
I think that's the best thing about this entire experience, because my first time was in Vermont, and I guess I was fortunate. I had a chaperone. My wife has also gone to these this will be her 4th year, and walking in and getting that deer in the headlights, not knowing what to do, after about day 1 or day 2, suddenly you're sitting and having breakfast, and normally you just be eating, but you're talking about some kind of cool tech tool or some blog somewhere. I mean, I think that the sessions are great, they're phenomenal, but there's just as much learning going on at lunch or on the way to the cafeteria or in the break time or our den nap chat or a nap chat time. It never stops. So I think there's just as much learning going on outside of any of those sessions. So yeah, absolutely.
All right. Laura has another question.
I was just wondering, what would be your best advice to people who've been there already, or just any, people who haven't been to DenSI? What is your one piece of advice that you need to tell people?
Rest now.
All right, anybody wants to start.
Jeremy, go first.
Yeah, Jeremy, go ahead. So
I would say, yeah, absolutely, rest now, because it is from 7 in the morning until you go to sleep non-stop. It's amazing. Your head's spinning every single day. Not that you could store up rest, but boy, if you could, it'd be nice to bank that stuff, because you're exhausted after this week. And it's a good exhaustion, but it's tiring.
Dana, will you talk a little bit about the dorm living, kind of going back to college? I know you and Kamala have a little bit of college rivalry here, but will you talk a little bit about the living situation, the dorm life, if you will?
We had a blast. Last year in Nashville, we were in suites with six of us ladies were all together, and about three of the girls that were with us were new last year, and three were new, had already been there, and we just had such a great experience. We had such a good time together. We were listening to music and getting ready together in the mornings and chatting and just having a good time. And we even worked out a shower schedule. That wasn't true. So it was it would be such a bummer to not be in a roommate situation, because you get to know people so much better. I was roommates with 2 people from Alabama, and I just traveled to Alabama in January, and I stayed with them and went out to dinner with them, and we keep in contact all the time, and they're still part of my personal learning network.
All right, Jeremy, I muted you. We're getting some feedback off your mic. Kamala, we talk about your first time last year and the the Summer Institute. A lot of people have said it's like no other PD you're ever going to get. Why do you think that is? Why do you think this network is so powerful?
I don't know. I think it's the people that are in it. I mean, everybody's so willing to share ideas, and I just really got so inspired from the DenSI last year. I started a makers club at my school. I started all of the stuff that I learned about there, and I just feel like anytime I had a question, I could ask anyone. I just feel like people that go are inspiring and willing to share what they know and answer any questions at any time.
All right, Jeremy, I'm going to come to you for this next one. You're a very active social media member. How has that really helped to build a community, build a network? You'll have to unmute yourself.
There we go. I'm unmuted. I think that the really nice thing about this, and I've found myself being guilty of this, I'm sitting at work, I'm trying to figure out something, and I'm like, oh, I could Google that, I could go someplace else. I go right to the DenSI IT page or the other pages. I post something, and suddenly people respond. I think that the social network of it has been amazing, because we have a lot of Den Stars here in Michigan, and a lot of people attend DenSI, but I'm getting advice from people from California, from every single state. I think that networking is more than just that connection you make at DenSI or the people in your den that are really close in geographic vicinity, but you can post anything on Twitter or Facebook, and you've got a response. It's great.
All right. Well, we have a new segment podcast. Thank you, Jeremy. Called Laura's Top 10. So, Laura, here we go today. your top 10 things not to miss at Den SI. Number 1, of course, was opening session this morning. We covered that in episode 3 for sure.
Right.
And here's number 2.
So there's this thing called the Den Amazing Race, and just think Amazing Race, but Discovery Education style. And my only advice to you is, pick a team that's going to be your comfort level of competitiveness. Because there are teams, I think, Brandon, you've been on a few, that are all about the trophy, right? And then there are the teams that are like, I want to drink some wine and, walk this thing. Or I just want to experience it and see what it's like. Or you could be on a team that is just rooting for all the other teams. So there's lots of options for that, but it is something you really should not miss because it is so much fun.
All right. Feedback from you guys on the Den Amazing Race. Any thoughts about that?
Bring sneakers. Bring running shoes.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't bring those last year. That's a good one.
Get matching shirts with your team so you can find your teammates.
And I agree with finding the team that you are at the same competitive level too. So it's so much fun. I mean, you get to just be a goof for a few hours.
Absolutely.
So much fun.
Laura, I'm not just all about the trophy.
I said some teams.
Although we did win, and there's my trophy right there. We'll put this right here.
It's quite a huge trophy.
I'd like to thank my teammates. All right, next thing from Laura's top 10. We'll go with the top 10 things to do and share, I believe.
Or get the best out of it.
Yeah, sorry. Ways to get the best out of Den SI. Be a yes man woman. That was episode 3. Episode 4, volunteer.
Attribute. So it just means it's kind of a continuation of the be a yes man woman. It just means volunteer for things because you have no idea where it's going to take you, but chances are you'll learn something and it'll take you somewhere awesome.
All right, come to you, Jeremy. What's that? The volunteer. You don't be willing to go out and do something. How does that come back to you?
Last year was the first year out of the 2 years that I actually did one of the unconferences. That was kind of interesting to stand up in front of the entire room there and say, I'm going to do a conference on, and it was just, people have been talking about Google for a while, and I'm a Google teacher, so I thought, well, I'll just do one on that. And it was really fun. I had a lot of feedback on that. But I know that Dave T. Asked if I would help with the Den SI website, too, and I kind of volunteered for that. You actually get more involved. You start to make more connections, and it's pretty nice to be more than just participating, but kind of help lead some things, too.
I don't think I could have said that better, Jeremy.
All right. Kamala or Dana, any thing from you two about that?
Well, the good thing about the Den is you can choose to be as involved or not involved as you choose to be. There's different levels, I guess, of Kool-Aidness. Some of us have drunk more Kool-Aid than others, apparently, and are more involved. But every time I'm involved with my Den, I come away feeling like a better educator and a better human. I'm surrounded by smart, enthusiastic, excited people, and I never, ever have regretted one single thing I've ever done with the Den. I've never been like, oh, I should never have volunteered to do that, or, oh, why did I say I'd help with this? Every time I volunteered to help with something, it's been a really great, rewarding opportunity, and I've been really excited I've gotten to do it, even if it's helping Brandon with stuff.
This is true. The volunteer stuff, it can be hard work, but like you said, Dana, it really, it does pay off in the long run. You make a lot more connections and stuff like that. All right, Laura. Last one for today. This is the top 10 ways to avoid burnout. Really good for new attendees. The first one was take it easy. Don't overdo it. That was from episode 3, as you remember. Take mental health breaks.
Right. So first, take care of yourself. Obviously, if you are feeling stressed out or overwhelmed or like you just can't take one more session in a day, don't do it. Just take a break. It's okay. And I think later on I talk about naps and stuff, because last year we started this whole nap chat thing, and I think I kind of started it. It was me and Rachel Yerk, I believe. Anyway, so if you need to take a nap chat, it's totally acceptable. Nobody's going to be angry or upset with you if you were gone for one session or just need to mellow out for a bit.
Now, with that being said, though, you don't want to be gone for 7 hours.
Right, I'm not saying all day. What would be the point of going?
Camel, any thoughts about taking some mental health breaks?
No, I remember last year during one of the conferences, I just kind of came outside and sat in the hall and ended up getting into a great conversation out in the hall versus being in the conference just because I needed to take a break. I didn't really get a mental health break because I was actually having a great conversation, but it was just kind of a one-on-one thing, which was really what I needed at that time, so it was really nice.
All right. In a moment, I'm going to give you all a chance to kind of give your last word about Summer Institute, maybe something not to forget, maybe a message for the new attendees. I'm going to start with you, Kamala. So just a last piece of advice before we head off today. Kamala.
I think the best piece of advice is to take it all in and just, especially if it's your first time, I'm an observer, so I didn't jump in with 2 feet. I just needed to observe a little bit and just kind of watch things and see how they went, and I've gotten a lot more involved over time with social media and stuff. But I think just, like you said, go to your level of involvement, take it all in, jump in when you want to, and just learn and have fun.
All right, Mr. Badner, to you.
I would say make the connections and network. It's amazing, the people that you're going to meet and sit with and chat with and learn from and help teach them too. It is an amazing group, and they're going to always be there for you. I'm not the big warm fuzzy person, but it is life-changing. It is a family by the time you're done with this week. It's phenomenal, so buckle up and really network.
All right, and Dana, since the sun's still out here, you get the final word.
Well, you know, I am a very outgoing person. I'll talk to anybody and everybody, but I remember last year when I got to Summer Institute, I was really overwhelmed and felt really shy, and I felt like everybody knows each other already, and I don't know any of these people, and I felt really uncomfortable. As it turns out, just remember, only half of us are returning. About half the people are still new. So just know that it's okay. Everybody's friendly. Take that time to go and introduce yourself to new people. Everybody is so welcoming and will love to have you meet them and make those connections with them. So don't feel overwhelmed that you're the only new person. You're not. And it's funny because even some of the people that I ended up hanging out with last year at Summer Institute are not the people, coincidentally, that I have become closest to throughout this school year. It's, you know, through social media and other Den events like Den-a-Paloozas and things like that, I've made more connections as the year's gone by. So just leave yourself open to that.
Den-a-Palooza's coming soon.
It is.
To California.
So Dana, we've been talking about the whole newbie thing and about how you were all like stressed out when you got there and you had your breakdown. And we were also talking about how you wanted to start sort of like a newbie club for people,
Yes,
to get there. So I really hope you're able to do that, and I hope that, you know, everybody's on board with that, because I think that would be a fantastic thing. I know that I could have used a newbie club when I went to my first one, and so I really hope that we're able to like get that for people who are new, so they don't have to have that like breakdown and cry moment.
I'm talking with Susan from New Mexico and Lindsay from Texas, and we're kind of working out a little schedule, and we're hoping to make sure that, say, if you're a first-timer, come hang out with us, and so that they feel like they have somebody to hang out with, you know, that Sunday afternoon when everybody's hugging and squealing and crying and they don't feel like they belong, but they can come hang out with us and feel like they have a home and some new friends automatically. So we're working on that. Maybe breakfast meetings, you know, pre-breakfast meetings every day to kind of touch base with them, make sure they're doing great. That's in the works.
Good. I'm glad.
All right, folks, here's the
I
face.
don't want anybody to have meltdowns in the hall.
There's Dana's face right there, people. That's the one to come and find right there. Don't be afraid of her. Okay. Thank you all, Dana, Jerry, Jeremy, Kamala. Thank you all for joining us today. For those watching at home, for everything Den, head over to dencommunity.com or denblog.com. For Laura Murphy, thanks for being here once again, episode 4. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you at Summer Institute. Have a good night.